If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Meghna Chakarvarti. I welcome you all to the fifth edition of Jaipur Education Summit. We are now proceeding to the next session. In the world full of achievements, eyes full of dreams, everyone wants to become a hero in the story of their lives. Achieving your goals or dream is about the confidence you have in yourself, battling with all the obstacles. With this, I would like to introduce the topic for this session: clearing blocks in achieving goals. Identifying and addressing obstacles is essential in clearing the path to achieve goals. By breaking down challenges, setting realistic milestones, and staying adaptable, you can overcome blocks and pave the way for success. To enlighten us more, I would like to welcome our esteemed panelist, Ms. Divya Srivastava. Ms. Divya Srivastava is a counseling psychologist with a master's degree in counseling from the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, and a postgraduate graduate certificate in clinical supervision from the University of Derby. Trained in clinical hypnotherapy from California Hypnosis Institute, and an internationally certified EFT trainer with EFTMRA, Divya adopts a queer affirmative, strength based, trauma enforced, electric approach when working with the clients in therapy. She has over 11 years of experience and has worked extensively with NGOs, schools, colleges, banks, law firms, and corporates to spread awareness on issues pertaining to mental health and provide relief. She is extremely passionate about working with the youth and empowering them to be the best versions of themselves. Currently, Divya is serving as the state president of the WICICI, Maharashtra Psychological Wellbeing Council, and as an advocate for sensitivity, compassion, acceptance, and vulnerability. She hopes to be a collaborative guide and help people to trust the wisdom they already have within themselves. Please welcome Ms. Divya. Introduce us to the topic.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing today? Good. I can see a lot of thumbs up happening, which is great. Um, we all want to achieve something in life. We all want. Is there anybody here who does not want to be successful? No hands going up. Okay. So it's very interesting that we are here right now in the month of January. We just finished celebrating the New Year. कितने लोगों ने यहाँ पे न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशन बनाए थे? Just can we have a show of hands? Almost some people, or many hands up, some people not. Great. Okay. How many of us have already failed those New Year resolutions we made? Very interesting. Okay. So, according to the University of Cranton, by the way, only 8% of people actually fulfill their New Year resolutions. So, 92% of us sitting in this room may have already failed because, by the way, 50% of the New Year resolution fail by the second week of January. Okay. One of the reasons why that happens is because all want to start the year on a positive note, right? Ki, this is going to be my year. This is the year we are going to achieve success. This is the year I'm finally going to give this up. This is the year finally I will work. We all think कि जैसे वो calendar event होता है and वो the last digit like 2023 to 2024, it feels like हम अपनी destiny बदल रहे हैं. In that split second from 11:59 p.m. to 12 a.m., the moment we enter this new year, we will be the new version of ourselves. And suddenly everything will magically fall. It's great to believe in magic. I believe in magic. But let's also be a little honest here. Magic is not available to all of us all the time. And in putting all our hopes and dreams for that magic to happen, most of us fail to fulfill our goals. Sounds familiar? What also is an issue, I think the biggest block I will start with immediately is we believe in the all or nothing. Okay? या तो सब कुछ या तो कुछ भी नहीं. ठीक है? मैंने प्रॉमिस मैंने रेज़ोल्यूशन बनाया था कि इस साल रोज़ 2 घंटे पढ़ाई करूँगी. रोज़ मैं 10 मैथ के प्रॉब्लम सम सॉल्व करूँगी. और डे 1 न्यू ईयर्स है आज. सेकंड डे, थर्ड डे, चौथे दिन तक किया. देन आई गॉट बोर्ड एंड देन आई स्टॉप्ड. एंड नाउ एक दिन छोड़ दिया, बाकी दिन क्या फायदा, न्यू ईयर रेज़ोल्यूशन फेल. सो इफ वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू इट एवरी डे, हमें करना ही नहीं है, हमें फॉलो भी नहीं करना. दिस इज द फर्स्ट बिगेस्ट ब्लॉक व्हाई वी फेल टू अचीव आवर गोल्स. क्योंकि हम एक्चुअली ऐसा सेट करते हैं कि हमें हर रोज करना है, ऑलवेज, नेवर. द मोमेंट वी हैव दीज गोल्स एंड पिक्चर एंड वी कांट डू एवरीथिंग, we decide to do nothing. What if I realize, okay, day 2 I failed, day 3 I failed, day 4 can be a new day for me. Let me try again. 4-5 दिन मैंने किया, वापस life got in the way, friends party, something happened. I again gave it. What if I again started? That doesn't sound fun, right? And well, that's unfortunately the truth. Achieving goals does not always have to be a fun process. And of course, consistency is important. बट अगर हम कंसिस्टेंट नहीं हो पा रहे, तो हम क्या करते हैं, डिसाइड करते हैं हमें करना ही नहीं. ओके, सो पहला चीज जो मैं आपको बिल्कुल बोलना चाहूंगी, द फर्स्ट ऑब्स्टिकल टू नॉट अचीविंग योर गोल्स comes from the pressure we put on ourselves, that if we are not giving it 100% and if we are not doing it 24/7, 365 days, 366 days say this year, we are not going to do it at all. Can we decide to be a little kinder to ourselves and be like, okay, it's okay. Some days I'll succeed, some days I won't, but I still try my best every day, and my best every day can be a little different. How does that sound? Easier, more. So, moving on from when I introduce myself, when I say I'm a psychologist, half the people run away like some are already doing. Okay. So sometimes they'll be like, अच्छा आपको तो पता है मेरे दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है. We don't know how to read minds, by the way. But what people also think when I say I'm a psychologist, nothing is wrong with me. Okay, I don't need help. Because in our heads, we have a very weird picture of what psychologists do, thanks to whatever we know about them from movies, but okay. And in essence, when I explain to people what I do, the way I like explaining it is everybody's life here is a beautiful story, okay, made up of chapters. Sometimes we feel stuck. Sometimes we have writer's block. We don't know what is the story ahead. Sometimes we know that my story has to be from here to there, but I don't know how. Any point where you feel stuck, therapy can help you. A psychologist can help you. A coach can help you. Because we help you tap into your potential. You are still the person driving the car. We are just helping you come up with a better GPS system to help you achieve your goals. So, for a lot of us, okay, even before we talk about blocks, which we've already started talking, let me ask you another question. Do you know what your goals are? What do you want in life? I like the way the heads are shaking like this. What do you want? What are your goals? Sounds like a very easy question, but it's a very loaded one. मैं कई बार पूछती हूँ लोगों को आपको क्या चाहिए? एंड दे स्टार्ट मुझे ना ये नहीं चाहिए, मुझे ना ये नहीं चाहिए, मुझे ये भी नहीं चाहिए। ग्रेट! आपने मुझे 10 चीज़ें बता दी जो आपको नहीं चाहिए। लेकिन आपको चाहिए क्या? आपका गोल क्या है? Nobody knows that. That is the again one of the reasons why we are not achieving our goals. We are busy avoiding what we don't want instead of moving towards what do happiness we want to what does that look like? आपने स्मार्ट वर्क के बारे में पढ़ा है? में यस, नो, यस, ओके। पहला कि आप कुछ सोचो अब कि मुझे आई वांट सम सक्सेस इन लाइफ, ओके, या आई वांट आई जस्ट वांट सिंपल can we be specific enough? What do you mean by success? For somebody, success would mean भाई एग्जाम में पास हो और कुछ नहीं चाहिए जीवन में मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. For somebody, success means getting 90%. For someone, success means being. For somebody, success means last time मेरा ये इससे बेटर करूँगा सक्सेस फॉर मी. तो आपके लिए सक्सेस का क्या मीनिंग है? आपका गोल क्या है? Can you be very specific about it? Secondly, क्या वो गोल measurable है? Again, how do you measure happiness? How do you measure success? So if I say, like if I think that okay, happiness and happiness comes from having a good balance, okay? So maybe exams में I'm getting first division in my class. अगर मैं friend के साथ महीने में 2-3 outings पे जा रही हूँ, things we can measure, okay? Things we can achieve. It helps us in defining what our goals are. If we are able to define our goals, know what our goals, obviously achieving them becomes a little simpler because we know what we are chasing. And I want all of us in this room right now to do a small activity. I promise it will not even take 10 seconds. Okay? I want everyone sitting in this room to just close their eyes. Just close your eyes. And no matter what you do, I want you not to imagine a pink elephant riding a tricycle. No matter what you do, please do not imagine a pink elephant riding a tricycle. And you can open your eyes when you're successful. And let's have some hands of honesty here. How many of us actually imagined the pig riding a tricycle? Out of the million possibly imagined in the world. The one thing I told you not to imagine, what happened? I told you not to. Beautiful. It's a very simple experiment. But remember, this is the issue. When we keep saying we don't want this, we don't want this, what are we imagining? Exactly that same scenario. And if you believe law of attraction, manifestation, even if you don't believe in these concepts, let's look at this is the picture we are presenting in our 24/7. हम ये नहीं लेकिन वो that whatever it is you don't want, it is that pink elephant riding a tribe. You could focus on 200 different things. You could focus on anything in the world. One thing I told you not to imagine, but everybody imagined that. Okay? So that is the power of goal setting. Please make a list of things you want. And sometimes achieving this list itself can be a very difficult journey. It's not as easy as it sounds.
बट मैम ऐसा होता है ना कि जैसे अभी स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स सब ठीक है, हम बहुत ही भयंकर टाइम बनाते हैं कि यूपीएससी यूपीएससी अब हम ही क्रैक करें और वो टाइम कभी एक्चुअली फॉलो ही नहीं हो पाता, तो उसके लिए हम सब क्या करें?
Great question. So पहली बात अच्छा यहाँ पे तो गोल सामने है यूपीएससी क्रैक करनी है. Okay. Now once we have our goal, we need to decide what is the path to get there. Okay. Let's also first give us as a realistic goal कि कितना हमारे कंट्रोल में. अगर हम एक कंट्रोल बनाते हैं, क्या-क्या चीज़ मेरे हाथ में है? मेरा टाइम टेबल, उस टाइम टेबल बनाना ईज़ी होता है। स्टूडेंट्स जो 3-3 दिन लगा देते हैं टेबल बनाने में, उसको फॉलो करना एक डिफरेंट स्टोरी। ओके? सो ठीक है, टाइम टेबल हमने बना लिया। अब टाइम टेबल में हम फॉलो भी कर रहे हैं। जितना हमें पढ़ाई करना है, उतना पढ़ भी रहे हैं। लेकिन यू नो द सक्सेस कुछ-कुछ चांस पे भी डिपेंड करता है। समटाइम्स यू कैन वर्क योर हार्डेस्ट, बट हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस हैव दीज़ नेगेटिव थॉट्स कि यार नहीं होने वाला, मुझसे तो नहीं होगा, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर मी, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, कैन आई इवन डू इट, इट्स टू हार्ड, अदर्स बाकी सब लकी, मैं लकी नहीं हूँ। मैं जितनी भी मेहनत कर लूँ, लक मेरा साथ नहीं देता है। क्योंकि a lot of hands going up with different statements, and it's very important to be aware of these statements. क्योंकि every time we say that, remember that's a belief system we have stored in our body. हम सब बोलते हैं ना the power of thinking, positive thinking, all of those things. माइंड को हम बहुत ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्णता देते हैं, इम्पोर्टेंस देते हैं। बट इफ आई हैड टू आस्क यू, वेयर डू यू सी द माइंड? वेयर इज़ द माइंड? It's an imaginary. We really don't know. For some people, mind is our thought in our head. Some people say it's our intuition, it's the feeling in our gut. Whatever school of thought you believe in, we can all agree on one thing. The only proof that we are alive is in our body, and your body will never lie. Every experience you had, 8th standard and above, यहाँ पे. So law of conservation of energy. Energy is never created nor destroyed. It just changes form. We are all living beings. We are all made up of matter. We are all made up of molecules. Mass. E equals to mc square. Okay. So we are all energy beings made of mass. And whatever we think, it is stored in some form of a neural impulse. And one of the techniques that I use, which is called EFT, it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. What it does is it makes you aware of where that emotion, where negative thought, where do you feel it in your body? So if I ask all of you to just close your eyes with me and think of what you want to achieve and become aware of some negative beliefs. Like I think for some of you there it was it's too hard. I'm never lucky. Say that to yourself, whatever belief there resonates with you. And just notice आपकी बॉडी में कोई भी एक ऐसी पार्ट है जिसको like that feels a little heavier, that feels a little different the moment you say those words. And if you can get a sensation like that, just raise your hand. Great. Where did you feel it? Can you name the body part? In your chest? Anybody else? Where? Great. So it will be different for different people. For some people, it's in the chest, in the head, in the. It's your personal experience. It's where you have stored it. And how long did it take for you to figure it out? Not even 2 seconds. I asked you the question and you know it. Okay. So when we talk about EFT, the first statement or whatever the negative emotion is, we look at where do we feel it in the body, and then we do something which is called tapping. Okay, there are certain points on the head and on the hands which we tap in a particular sequence, and what we aim to do is we want to get to the root of it. कि ये thought आपके पास आया कैसे? Was there a particular event that happened to you in your life? Okay, what was the reason that happened? And it feels like very simple, basic, but it is very, very, very powerful. I always say even simple sentences can be very powerful if done correctly. We don't need to complicate things. The reason some things are classic always is because nothing can be simplicity. So, a couple of years ago, I had a client. Okay, she was uh, in her 20s, up for a position then when she kept saying that मुझे कभी नहीं लगता I hate it because there's also hoping that is going to happen and I think कि मेरे लिए तो support करेगा ही नहीं. I never seem to have support. Okay, so पहले they were questioning why do you what makes you feel this way? Do you not have friends at work? And she keeps saying I always feel कि कुछ भी होता है last minute I'll just come one day and they will never be around and maybe they won't miss me. And it's a strange thing to believe in, right? Because most of us we can count on our friends. And she says that I am scared of getting close to people. I don't believe in my 100% because I keep thinking कि पता नहीं आज नहीं, कल नहीं भरोसा नहीं कर सकते. So I said, okay, where do you feel this in your body? Like the way I asked you this question. And she again went, I feel it in my chest and I feel it in my head and it feels really heavy. And we start tapping. And I asked her if while we tap at any point, if you remember something, if a memory comes up or अगर आपका feeling कुछ और change होता है, you let me know. While tapping, she uncovered a memory of when she was 7 years old, had gone to school back home, and she started looking for a doll, and she couldn't find it anywhere. And she searched and she searched and she just couldn't find her. Finally, her mother returned home in the evening and she said, have you seen your doll? And her mother is like, you're a big, you don't need this doll anymore. I gave it away to somebody. She was furious. She started crying. And her mother kept saying, you're a big girl now. You're not supposed to cry. It's just a doll. For that 7-year-old only child living alone, the doll was not just a doll to her. She was like the friend she never had. Whenever she was scared, the doll was what used to comfort her. And that feeling of abandonment at just losing one doll, that spiraled into a state where she kept thinking that I'll come one day and my friends will be gone. I'll just because there was no closure that happened. It's not a traumatic event. We've all had events in our life, right? And that's the beautiful thing about this work is when we are going through something, it feels the pain level is at a 10 on 10. Then we distract ourselves. Then we tell ourselves it's not a big deal, it's okay. Other people have it worse. And we dismiss our own pain and we dismiss our own feelings. In Harvard, they did a research study, by the way, to assess the intensity of pain that people feel using fMRI scan. Okay. A 6-year-old whose ice cream or chocolate had fallen on the road, mother refused to let him pick it up and eat because you dirty. A 16-year-old who had her heart broken because her crush does not like her back, and her 19-year-old who's been in a car accident and suffered injury fully on the face and the back. Do you know, according to the scans, all three of them experienced the same intensity of pain. Somebody whose chocolate fell on the road and they can't pick it up and eat it, and a person who went through a car accident suffered actual injuries on the face and the back. You cannot, according to brain scans, there is no difference in the level of pain they feel. What does that make? How do you respond to studies like this? Odd? Yeah. So in the moment when the pain is experienced, that impact is 10 on 10. And when that happens, remember our body has an inbuilt mechanism to protect itself, the fight mechanism or the flight mechanism, which means a zebra in a jungle, the moment they see a tiger, what are they going to do? Run. The flight mechanism. A, a tiger, when it sees that, okay, there is a high up to someone, also looking at the same prey, what is the tiger going to do? Fight. Okay. We have the mechanism available to us, either fighting the stressor or running away from it. But in real life, it's not possible. स्कूल में आपको अगर कम मिले हो तो ऐसा नहीं है कि कल से आप स्कूल आए बताओ फ्लाइट तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है neither can you sit and fight with your teacher okay you may argue a little bit but उससे ज्यादा क्या करोगे Fighting is not available, running away is not available. So your natural mechanism to actually deal with the stressor is not applicable for you. Thankfully, we have a third mechanism. We call it the freeze mechanism, freezing. Okay. It's also called, unfortunately, the playing dead mechanism. If you've ever had an experience जहाँ पे आपको रोड क्रॉस करना हो, बहुत बड़ा क्रॉसिंग है, बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक, and you started walking, suddenly there is this car speeding at you. Have you had that experience where you're just stuck there, you're not running away, you're not doing this? How does it help? Because you're stationary, because you're there, the other person realizes you're not going to make it and they break. Or somebody pulls you out of the way. It is called the freeze or the playing dead mechanism. And we all use it way too often for our own good. So when we talk about EFT, when we talk about the work I do, we are looking at as an understanding of कहाँ freeze हो गए थे. क्योंकि freezing, while it protects you in the moment, after that your body has to come back to homeostasis. कि ठीक है, डेंजर चला गया. कभी आपको किसी का हुआ है ट्रेन पकड़नी हो, बस पकड़ना हो, भाग रहे हो, जिस तरह उस ट्रेन में आप उस टाइम भागते हो पकड़ने के लिए, उतना आपने कभी नहीं भागा होगा. बट जैसे आपको वो बस मिल जाती है, वो ट्रेन मिल जाती है और आप बैठ जाते हो, you notice what happens to your body and the time it takes for you to recuperate. That is also much longer. But that recuperation is very important. क्योंकि जब आप वो recuperate करते हो, तभी आपको वो मिलता है, तभी आपकी बॉडी को वो स्पेस मिलता है कि अच्छा, डेंजर इज गॉन, स्ट्रेसर इज गॉन, आई एम फाइनली सेफ. बट कई बार हमारी लाइफ में ये मैसेज बॉडी को मिलता ही नहीं, क्योंकि एक मैथ क्लास के बाद नेक्स्ट मैथ क्लास, उसके बाद तीसरा, उसके बाद चौथा. वेयर इज द स्पेस फॉर द बॉडी टू एक्चुअली calm down, to actually not stay frozen. यहाँ पे कितने लोगों ने भाग मिल्खा भाग देखा है? A lot of us. So उस मूवी में क्या है? फरहान अख्तर और मिल्खा सिंह is running the race. What is he actually running away from? Every time he hears a gunshot, what is the memory that gets activated for him? The partition, his father, he can see the men with those talwars chasing his father and saying, "Bhag Milkha bhag." And he keeps hearing that. And Hollywood में we've seen it. Run forest, bhag Milkha bhag. Line, and that is the vision he keeps having. He's no more running away from people. There is nobody chasing him. But he's still traumatized, he's still frozen, and he's still running from that perspective. And yes, it helps him, of course. But he's still able to do that after processing his emotions. So some of our biggest steps to overcoming, to overcoming all the obstacles, towards meeting our goals is, if we are not aware of it, like, B, even if we are aware of it, we are always told, think positive. अरे कैसे? Nobody teaches us how. In fact, अगर आप कई बार parents भी, they don't mean it in, they have, their hearts are in their heads and they want the best for you, but they don't know how to help you. WHO, 90% of all disease का cause is stress. 90% of all disease, any disease, the cause is stress. The actual issues in your body compromise only 10%. The environment and biophysical mechanism, that's only 10%. 90% of all disease is caused by stress. And stress के लिए हम क्या बोलते हैं? With positive symptom. इतना simple नहीं है. Because let's do this. Even if I start saying, I am the most confident person in the room, or I am not scared of public speaking. It's the number one fear in the world, by the way, public speaking. Uh, Fear of death is actually number three. Fear of public speaking is the number one fear in the world. People would rather die than speak in front of an audience full of people. So, what happens when if somebody with that fear is told, come up on stage, there are lots of people, and just start talking, immediately your body goes into shutdown mode, and there is a part of you that says no. Or have this thing called affirmation. Let's think positive. I am strong. I am confident. You are saying that out loudly at the back of your mind. क्या बकवास, झूठ. You don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, you're literally trying not to think about the pink elephant on a tricycle, but it's the only thing you're thinking of. So affirmations can work, but for them to really work, you have to really believe in them. And therefore, you have to kill your negative thinking. Because many people don't believe this who know me in recent years. My school teachers can believe this. I was a very shy kid. I would not in class. एवरी पीटीएम मेरी मम्मी को बोला जाता था कि आप ब्रेकफास्ट नहीं खिलाते हो क्या? ये कुछ नहीं बोलती है क्लास में. My English teacher told my mom that एक बार मैंने क्लास में स्पेसिफिकली उसको उठा के क्वेश्चन पूछा था. उसको जवाब पता है. She knows the answer. बट वो कभी क्लास में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करती है, जवाब नहीं देती. She doesn't speak. And I am today speaking in front of people who know me in recent years can never believe that I had a fear of public speaking. Because I remember when I was a kid, I was petrified of teachers. I was very scared of being the center of attention because if I'm up here, I have to be perfect. And today I'm speaking here, मेरी हिंदी उतनी अच्छी नहीं है जितनी होनी चाहिए to speak on this platform. My English is decent. So, but I've decided I may not be perfect, but it's okay. Hopefully, what I speak, मुझे पता है मेरे पास knowledge है, मुझे पता है what I speak, it makes sense to me. I want to just speak my heart, and it's okay, even if I'm nervous, because the goal here is I'm in front of literally the future of India. I would say that's who you all are, everyone seated here, and the future of India is very bright, and the future of India doesn't have to be fearless. They are allowed to feel scared, but they know even if they are scared, they can still do it anyway, because what is bravery? If you are not scared of something and you're doing it, you're not brave, which is normal for you. But if you're petrified of something and you do it anyway, that's what courage is like. That is what bravery is. And it's okay. Even if you have shortcomings, we are not going to be perfect. The biggest obstacle again towards why people don't achieve goals is this chasing perfection. अगर ये 100% तो मुझे देना ही नहीं, बट 0 से 40% तो होगा. Do it anyway. उसके बाद we can keep moving. But if you're waiting for it to be 100%, you're going to end up with nothing. And that is why, again, chasing perfection is a bigger block to achieving goals. You may have the talent, you may have the skills. You have to give it your best shot. Even if your best is far from perfect, do it anyway. Show it to the world anyway. Because you don't know who you will inspire. We just heard inspiring words today with Shamsundar ji, and he said उन्होंने कभी नहीं सोचा था उनको कोई 15 अगस्त या 26 जनवरी को भी सुनेगा, and he's the Padma Shri award. He's done that incredible work. He was not chasing perfection. He was like काम है करना है. Perfection देखा जाएगा. We'll figure that out. None of us will ever be able to achieve perfection maybe. क्योंकि वो एक कॉन्सेप्ट है, कोई भी चीज आज इतनी इस लेवल पे परफेक्ट है, कल वो और परफेक्ट हो सकती है. The goal is to keep doing. The goal is to keep persevering.
बट ऐसा जनरली देखा जाता है कि हम कोई भी काम करके जा रहे हैं, होता है ना कि 99% श्योर है, बट वो 1% फियर सबकॉन्शियस में रह जाता है. दैट इज द वेट ऑफ दैट 1% इज a lot heavier than that 99%. अगर हम एक एग्जांपल रोड क्रॉस कर रहे हैं नॉर्मली, ठीक है, अब गाड़ी दूर से आ रही है, हम आगे कर सकते हैं बट हम नहीं करेंगे. डर रहता है ना. अब मैं ये भी बोल रही हूँ कि आगे करिए. मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि डर रहता है, फियर रहता है कि अभी गाड़ी आएगी, अभी हम पीछे हो जाएंगे. तो रियल लाइफ में भी सेटबैक्स रहते हैं कि हम ये देखते हैं कि नहीं हम शायद अचीव नहीं कर सकते. हम म्यूजिक सुनते हैं, हम कोई पॉजिटिव मंत्र बोलते हैं, कुछ भी कर लें, बट वो फियर हमेशा रहता है. और वो फियर कहीं न कहीं हमारे सक्सेस में एक हिंड्रेंस होता है. तो हम उसे कैसे टैकल करें, हम उस 1% का वेट कैसे कम कर सकते हैं?
I think that's a very beautiful question. So let's also acknowledge कि अगर हमारे वो 1% fear, वो 1% anxiety नहीं रहेगी, तो हम जिंदा भी नहीं रह. अगर मान लो कि हम में से कोई सब कोई में ऐसा है, fear 0%, anxiety 0% है. God forbid, लेकिन अगर ये ऑडिटोरियम में आग लग गई, कोई नहीं भागेगा. बैठे रहेंगे, क्योंकि डर ही नहीं है, एंग्जाइटी ही नहीं। वी नीड थोड़ा एंग्जाइटी, वी नीड थोड़ा फियर। ओके, फियर एंग्जाइटी इज लाइक एन अलार्म क्लॉक, उसको उसको वो चाहिए। अगर आपको सुबह 8 बजे और आपका अलार्म 6 बजे नहीं बजा और आप सोते रह गए, आप तो एग्जाम ही मिस कर जाओगे। लेकिन अगर आपका अलार्म क्लॉक जो 6 बजे बजना चाहिए, वो कुछ इस तरह सेट है, 9 बजे मैं सोने गई, कोई नहीं जाता, 10 बजे सोने गए, 12 बजे एक बार बजेगा, फिर 12:30, फिर 1 बजे, फिर 1:15, फिर 1:45, फिर 2:50, 2:20, 3:20, 3:40, 4, 5:30, 5:40, 5:45, 5:55, 6. So many people nodding their head. You said had no chair up at a time. Did you actually end up sleeping? Not at all sleep, disturb sleep, right? So fear anxiety is like that alarm clock. You need it to ring at the right time it is supposed to ring. But if it is ringing too much or not ringing at all, that is also a problem. So अगर आपके अंदर fear आता है या anxiety आती है कि मुझे ये सक्सेसफुल होना है लेकिन मुझे डर लग रहा है, पहला चीज, fear is always indicating of what could go wrong. Okay, instead of being like, "Oh, I'm scared, let me do something else, let me distract myself." What if you could talk to your fear the way you talk to a friend? Okay, you are scared, what are you scared of? Okay, ये मैंने जो चैप्टर छोड़ दिए हैं शायद वही आएंगे। What is fear telling you to do? भैया कुछ छोड़ो मत, सब पढ़ते जाओ। Okay, second, what is another reason you are feeling scared? Despite studying everything, मेरा सिलेक्शन नहीं होगा। अगर आपने सब पढ़ाई किया है तो एग्जाम में आप होपफुली सेंसिबल चीजें ही लिखोगे, और अगर आपके मार्क्स आते हैं तो आप सिलेक्ट होगे। शायद हो सकता है किसी और ने आपसे ज्यादा मेहनत की हो या उसके आंसर बेटर फ्रेम्ड हो, लेकिन एग्जाम का जो चेकिंग करने का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो है या कंट्रोल जो है, वो आपके हाथ में नहीं है। सो इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू हैव दिस सर्कल ऑफ कंट्रोल, जिसको मैं बोलती हूँ कि सर्कल के अंदर आपके कंट्रोल में क्या क्या चीजें हैं, क्या आप वो ठीक से कर रहे हो। हर समय कोई ना कोई चीजें होंगी जो आपके कंट्रोल के बाहर रहेंगी। हाउ डू यू navigate that balance? Okay, look for more things in your control, focus on those things you can control, क्योंकि when you know कि ये चीजें मैं कंट्रोल कर सकती हूँ, ये चीजें मैं कंट्रोल कर सकता हूँ, आपका फोकस ही रहता है। अगेन फोकसिंग ऑन व्हाट यू वांट टू डू, you are not focusing on all those things outside your control, all those things that you don't want. So अगर आपको like you rightly said, please don't go running across the road, but अगर आप भागने वाले हो, fear is what, because you could get hurt, you could have an accident, pedestrian
पेरेंट्स को भी जवाब देना
बच गए तो जवाब देना है।
है।
हाँ,
और एक और क्वेश्चन है कि हम मतलब एक प्रॉपर अगर एक नॉर्मल बेसिक सिनेरियो देखें तो हर कोई बच्चा अगर साइकोलॉजिस्ट या थेरेपिस्ट नहीं बात कर सकते, हम नहीं जानते, सोच भी नहीं कर सकते। एंड इसमें ये भी आता है पेरेंटेबल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो प्रॉब्लम इतनी बड़ी नहीं होती, लेकिन उस बच्चे के लिए उस सिचुएशन में बहुत बड़ी होती है। तो उसे हम कैसे टैकल करें मेंटल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी, और उस बच्चे के लिए भी कि वो क्या कर सकता है या उसे कंट्रोल कर सकता है।
सो आई थिंक पेरेंट्स ये लोग सब स्टूडेंट्स को अच्छा ही चाहते हैं, लेकिन सबका आइडिया कि क्या अच्छा है उनके लिए वो अलग होता है। एंड हर जनरेशन में जो आती है, मुझे भी पहले लगता था कि मेरे पेरेंट्स मतलब नहीं समझते शायद मैं कुछ चाहती हूँ। अभी मैं जिस एज में हूँ, मुझे लगता है कि जो शायद मैं जब कॉलेज में चाहती थी, मेरे बच्चे भी मुझसे वही मांगते हैं, दैट्स नॉट पॉसिबल। एंड आई नो आई कैन सी इट इन देयर फेस, वेयर आई वाज 10 years 12 years ago, they are exactly there. So it's a cycle where we have to acknowledge the generation gap है। And the biggest thing that I think parents struggle with, अगर हमारा बच्चा एक थेरेपिस्ट या साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास जा रहा है, अरे ऐसा क्या है कि अजनबी को बोल सकते हैं लेकिन मुझे नहीं। ओके, what the first thing that needs to change is that stigma कि जस्ट लाइक डॉक्टर नहीं हो, आजकल पेरेंट्स अनफॉर्चुनेटली जब से व्हाट्सएप आ गया है, जब से वो डॉक्टर्स के पास भी नहीं ले जाते हैं बच्चों को, खुद ही घर पे डायग्नोसिस करके दवाई खिला देंगे एंड कोई जरूरत नहीं आएगी इसको। You want the best for the child, but it is always useful कि जिसको जिसकी expertise हो, वो उसको वो उधर ही रहे. Because I will not be an expert of their child's life. They will obviously make better decisions for them. They know what is right for them. But if the child is going through something, maybe it's also a time to acknowledge कि it has nothing to do with you. हमें आदत हो गई है हर चीज़ को अपने बारे में like everything is about me. Okay, my child success, my child is not successful, I have failed as a parent. If this is not happening, I have to fail. भाई खुद की दुनिया से बाहर आओ, सबकी दुनिया में realize that you are a side character. हर जगह आप मेन कैरेक्टर हो नहीं. हो सकता है आपके बच्चे को परेशानी हो क्योंकि उसके स्कूल में उसके फ्रेंड्स नहीं बात कर रहे उससे, उसको स्कूल में कोई टीचर नहीं कर रहे हैं। लेकिन अगर आप लकी थे कि आप स्कूल में गए, आपको ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस नहीं हुआ। जस्ट बिकॉज़ आपको नहीं हुआ, चिल्ड्रन विल नॉट हैव इट। So giving children that space, okay, there are issues you are facing which has nothing to do with me, and maybe I cannot help you because children also want to be independent. They don't necessarily want to go to a like at a certain age in teenage especially, friends are more important than the parent group. So it's just a phase. You were there. Okay, nobody was born a parent. You were there where they were. Okay? Just remembering your time, it helps a little bit. And of course, not every child will want to go to a therapist, psychologist. तो ज़रूरत भी नहीं है. But अगर किसी को ज़रूरत है, तो only reason they are not being able to do it is because of the financial issues or parents are not supporting. Our government has a lot of good initiatives. The Mandrewala Foundation therapy free of cost 24/7. You can definitely go there. Kiran helpline भी start किया था government of India ने. It's very much active. तो काफ़ी free sources भी हैं बच्चों के लिए. But I think what is very important is building a strong supportive community and also being in a world where collaboration is supported. यहाँ पे हर बच्चे को first आना है, बट एक क्लास में कितने लोग फर्स्ट आएंगे? क्या हमारी एजुकेशन होती है गिविंग फर्स्ट रैंक और समथिंग वी जस्ट सेलिब्रेट एवरीवन्स विंस एवरीवन पोटेंशियल. हम बचपन से अगर हम देखें आप में कोई ऐसा नहीं है का नाम ले सकते हैं जहाँ कॉम्पिटिशन नहीं हो. देयर इज नो गेम लाइक दैट. चाहे आप पकड़ा-पकड़ी खेलो, चाहे आप मोनोपोली खेलो, लूडो खेलो, स्नेक्स एंड लैडर खेलो, हर जगह पे हमने गेम्स में कॉम्पिटिशन का वेवलेंथ ज़्यादा है. एवरीबॉडी इज कम्पीटिंग एंड इफ देयर इज कॉम्पिटिशन we are always thinking the person sitting next to us is my enemy, even if they are our best. So maybe changing mindset कि ठीक है, we all have our strengths. What is some way we can all come together and make those strengths something which is for the greater good of the community. For example, with EFT, I am a part of EFTMRA India. It it's the only licensed authority EFTMRA, which is a UK based organization. तो हम यहाँ पे कई सारे फ्री सेशंस भी करते हैं फॉर स्टूडेंट्स फॉर एग्जाम स्ट्रेस एक्सेट्रा. ऑनलाइन इफ यू वांट टू चेक इट आउट, take those services through tapping. It's very easy to reduce stress levels, overcome all those. It's very very easy to do. So you can check out those resources as well.
Also, in every student's life, there is a phase they go to give any sort of competitive examination. So what happens is, after quite a lot of tries, they fail, and sometimes they this away from success and don't realize. So I think most of the people, most of the students, they don't blame the failure, but the process of the failure. They start regretting the process, and they start blaming the knowledge that no, it wasn't sufficient. I was not worthy enough. Maybe they start comparing with others. So how can they tackle this when they are, after even so much hard work, they cannot achieve it. They're just a step away from.
So I feel any knowledge that you gain, even if it is for the purpose of cracking a competitive exam, knowledge is never wasted. The problem I feel that happens in the case of competitive exams is आपकी पूरी 24/7 66 days अंदर 65 days अंदर बस वही को अचीव करने में लग जाती है. और पहले बोलते थे कि भाई किसी भी चीज़ को दिल से ठानो, मतलब लिटरली 24/7 उसी बारे में सोचो, वही करो, so you are definitely successful. But in today's, let's be honest, our population is huge, competition is a lot. Realistically speaking, हमारे expectations हमें थोड़े मैनेज आने चाहिए। हार्ड वर्क इज़ नॉट अ श्योर शॉट फॉर्मूला फॉर सक्सेस। कई चीज़ें चांस पे भी डिपेंडेंट, कई चीज़ें शायद हो सकता है आपने मेहनत की हो, लेकिन आपको जब आप पूरा एक अपने रूम में बैठे हो और बस वही कर रहे हो, यू आर आल्सो कंप्लीटली कट डाउन फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड, यू डोंट नो व्हाट एवरीबॉडी एल्स इज डूइंग, हाउ एल्स दे आर प्रोफेसिंग। I feel we are living in a world where we need to build a supportive community first and foremost, and we need to live in a world where we have backup present. We cannot attribute an identity to this one goal or this one plan. There has to be other things to life, because also for the youth today, the speed with which the world is changing. AI क्या है मुझे पता ही नहीं था। एक साल के अंदर इस तरह से स्कोप आ रहा है। एवरीबॉडी हियर, शायद आप जो करने वाले हो फ्यूचर में, वो अभी तक इन्वेंट ही नहीं हुआ। Maybe you'll find out what you're ending up doing by the time you're in your second year of your bachelor's degree. तो बैचलर्स भी जो सोचकर आपने, वो भी आप, आपका शायद करियर पूरा हो सकता है। द एम इज फर्स्ट फील बिकॉज़ यू एन्जॉय इट, यू लाइक इट, you are able to do that. Irrespective of whatever. Firstly, if you like something, you're automatically going to put in more efforts. You are automatically going to do it because you like it. हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारा प्रेशर भी होता है कि भाई साइंस ही लेना है बच्चों को, यही करना है। हम पहले से ही वो डिसाइड कर लेते हैं उनके लिए। अगर हम बोलते हैं कि बच्चों को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, आई रिमेंबर हैविंग कॉन्वर्सेशन विद माय ओन फादर वेयर आई सेड मुझे इसमें मन नहीं। ही इज लाइक, मन लगने का क्या जरूरत है? ये तो काम है, ये करना है। ये उनके जनरेशन में एप्लीकेबल था बिकॉज़ दे नीडेड टू डू द वर्क, दे नीडेड टू अर्न मनी, दे नीडेड टू सपोर्ट हिज फैमिली। Then came the next generation, which was my generation. I didn't have to go through the struggle because my father had gone through it. And now I was looking at doing things that interest me. Interest me, मेहनत नहीं करूँगी because the burden of I need to put food on the table, that didn't exist for my family after that time. So again, you have put in the hard work, you have made the sacrifices, you've brought up children now who may value it, but now they are different people because of what you have achieved for them till this stage. Recognizing that. So if a child's interest level is not there, a student is not interested in something, and you're making them study it, वो बस नाम तो बोल रहे हैं कि वो 12 घंटे पढ़ रहा था। 12 घंटे कितने घंटे वो कोई और पढ़ रहा था वो नाम का, और कितने घंटे वो डेट भी पढ़ रहा है। लेट्स आल्सो बी ऑनेस्ट व्हेन वी से कि हमने मेहनत किया है, कैन वी फर्स्ट बी थोड़ा ऑनेस्ट विद आवरसेल्व्स एंड बी लाइक हाँ, एक्चुअली हम क्या कर रहे थे? वर वी रियली स्टडीइंग? 2 घंटे तो लगे अपने सब्जेक्ट में थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट आने में, फिर 1 घंटा पढ़ा किया, फिर छोड़ो लंच टाइम हो गया। If you are really interested in something, when somebody says I study 12 hours, 8 hours, it's the truth. Otherwise, they are not studying 8 hours, 12 hours, something else is happening. I think as adults, we need to acknowledge that and realize that whatever somebody wants to do, let them do it, they will figure it out. Rather than sacrificing themselves, giving up parts of identity of who they are every day to achieve something which anyways is not achievable if you're not 100% committed to it. So I think it's something that is to reflect.
And like you said about choosing the subject that interests you the most, there was this example. One of my friends, he was a boy, and he wanted to go for art, and he was the only boy in a 66 girls and one boy. And everybody, his relatives, his neighbors, they were like, क्या लड़कियों को सब्जेक्ट है ये आर्ट्स, तुम क्यों ले रहे हो? लड़के साइंस लेते हैं, ये क्या बात हो गई? तो peer pressure social impact हो जाता है. Sometimes our own, our closest family also, they demotivate us in some or the other way. They don't intend to do so, but they do. So how do you, probably I would survive in such environment or such thought that all around take?
So Victor Franklin का एक quote था, those who have a why can deal with any how. Okay, if you want to do something, if your why do you want to do it, is your why strong? I want to do this This is the only thing I know how to be. I was the first person in my family, by the way, who did not take up science. Okay, my whole family is filled with engineers and doctors. To ask for any label, I can give you a reference. Um, when I took up humanity, then I had scored very well. So the first thought was my father was simply like, बेटा तुम्हारे तो मार्क्स भी अच्छे हैं, आर्ट्स तो डम बच्चे लेते हैं, क्यों ले रही हो? And I just so to be honest, till 10th, I was also sure I would take up science. Okay, I ended up reading a book which really I was really fascinated by the book, and the book was a murder mystery. But the murder mystery gets solved in like the first half of the book, and the other half of the book is with the person who did the murders in a mental health asylum with session from a counselor to uncover why did she do those murders, what happened to her that made her do those things. And while reading the book, we asked my mother, "के counselor psychologist क्या होता है?" Then she explained कि ये है psychologist ऐसे होता है, वो होता है. And just while I was telling that school से आता है subject which course you want to out for. I saw 12, 11 humanities, psychology. I'm like, अच्छा ये मेरा स्कूल ऑफर करता है humanities का सब्जेक्ट है, कोई बात नहीं. Just because of that, I took the subject up, and every time my father asked me, why do you want to take this up? I had my reason. I was like, मुझे यही बनना है. This is what I want to be. I just know it. And उसके बाद people would say, and it, honestly speaking, because my vibe was, it didn't matter what people say, they're allowed to think. I gossip a lot about other people. I think all of us do. Okay? If you have the right to gossip about other people's lives, they can gossip about say things about you. There's nothing wrong with that. You are a human being. They are allowed to be human beings too. You are not special. As much as I mean, how we say every child is special. It's important to have that main character energy, but also remember you are not that important. The world does not revolve around you. So release that pressure from yourself. लोग क्या कहेंगे? लोगों के पास लोग तुम्हारे बारे में कहेंगे, 10 मिनट बाद किसी और के बारे में कहेंगे. You are not so important कि तुम्हारे बारे में कहेंगे. So move on. They'll
कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना।
कहना.
और अब हमने बहुत सारी नेगेटिव चीज़ों की बात करी, अब हम थोड़ा पॉज़िटिव आते हैं से बहुत ही ज़्यादा पॉज़िटिव, ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट जिसे टर्म देना चाहूँगी। बहुत बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं थिंक लाइक अरे यार मैं तो टॉप मैं तो बस 90% आएगा मेरा, मैं सिर्फ 4 घंटे पहले किताब खोलूँगा एंड आई विल बैंग ऑन, रिज़ल्ट शानदार आए। लेकिन वो रिज़ल्ट कहीं पर थोड़ा साइड ट्रैक कर देते हैं अपनी चीज़ को, हम बहुत ज़्यादा ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट इस चीज़ में। तो हम उस ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस अगर हम कहें कि नहीं यार मैं कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं हूँ, बट एक्चुअली द पर्सन इज़, हाउ डू यू आइडेंटिफाई सच थिंग्स एंड हाउ डू यू टैकल इट?
So ये ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ एक और कॉन्सेप्ट आता है प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन. लास्ट मिनट पढ़ना. ओके. आई ऑलवेज टेल पीपल कि प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन मेरे डिक्शनरी में एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता है. क्योंकि जिस दिन आपने प्रोक्रेस्टिनेट किया और आपको रिजल्ट उतने अच्छे नहीं मिले, आप नेक्स्ट टाइम नहीं करोगे. बट हाउ डज़ दिस ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस एंड प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन वर्क? आई विल टेल यू. मैंने बिल्कुल मेहनत नहीं की. 4 घंटे पहले बुक्स पढ़ी और मुझे एग्ज़ाम में मेरी मैथ्स थोड़ी खराब है तो मैं बोलूँगी, मुझे एग्ज़ाम में आया 16 ऑन 20. मेरे पोटेंशियल हाईएस्ट था 18 या 19 ऑन 20. और मेरी मम्मी, मेरे पापा, मेरे टीचर सबको लगता है मुझे 18 19 कहीं गया नहीं है, मुझे भी आता है. मुझे 16 आया. नेक्स्ट टाइम instead of studying last minute, I will start studying 1 week in advance or 1 month in advance. We all say this. But then एग्ज़ाम खत्म होता है और वो 1 मंथ लेट आता है. Then we realize एक दिन पढ़ने के बाद मुझे हाईएस्ट से 2 मार्क्स कम आए. मैं पूरा अपना 29 दिन बर्बाद करूँगी ताकि मुझे 2 मार्क्स एक्स्ट्रा आए. इतना मेहनत भी कर लूँ तो कितना 95 नहीं 89 आ ही रहा है. चलने दो. इट्स ओके. सो when we talk about procrastination, I think this is the thinking that exists. Okay, वो ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस इसलिए आता है ताकि we don't get stressed because हम लास्ट मिनट पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं और अगर आपको 30 चैप्टर्स 20 चैप्टर्स एक रात में पढ़ना पड़े, it is going to it's impossible. The fear, the nervousness is too high. So your remember your body is your best friend. So overconfidence becomes the injection it gives you ताकि you don't get scared. एज इट इज आपने 29 डेज सोचा ही नहीं। अब वो एक दिन जो पढ़ने का था, इंस्टेड ऑफ बीइंग ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट और पॉजिटिव कि हो जाएगा, इफ यू नाउ स्टार्ट क्राइंग एंड ब्रेकिंग, नहीं हो सकता मुझसे, एक्चुअली स्टार्ट कर लेना चाहिए थ्रू टाइम, you've lost even you've lost 30 days of potentially study, and then to you're definitely, so that's one way of looking at overconfidence.
एंड अगर हम क्लियरिंग ब्लॉक्स की बात कर रहे हैं तो आई वुड से आज अगर सबसे बड़ा ब्लॉक है तो है इंस्टाग्राम। रील्स देख रहे हैं, बीच में कोई अच्छी सी वीडियो आ गई, एजुकेशनल वीडियो में, अरे मम्मी इससे पढ़ाई होती है, ये तो क्या ही है। रील्स के थ्रू होते 30 सेकंड में सारे करंट अफेयर्स कवर कर लूंगी। और स्नैपचैट को क्या मेंटेन कर, स्ट्रीक मेंटेन कर। तो ये सबसे बड़े ब्लॉक्स हैं अगर हम आज देखें इन प्रेजेंट टाइम, तो इन ब्लॉक्स को कैसे दूर कर।
So mobile phone addiction is a very real, okay, अगर मैं किसी को अभी सबको अगर मैं बोलूँ कि एक बार खड़ा होकर उनको सामने रख दो और सेशन के एंड के बाद आपको मिलेगा, स्टार्ट क्लैपिंग फॉर 10 सेकंड्स एंड प्रे कि मैं अभी इसी वक्त सेशन खत्म कर दूं, बिकॉज योर है योर मोबाइल, it's like your extended body part. Now we don't have only 200, we also have a mobile phone which is our extension of who we are. Okay, and it is a like it has a lot of potential because like you are right, okay, lot of things I watch reels for entertainment, जो भी बोलते हैं नहीं मैं education के लिए देखता हूँ, good luck, nobody is buying it. We are watching because it's addictive, because it's fun, because in I don't even need to focus. मेरा if I don't like it, in seconds I can just do this and I watch the